Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com or CorrectFemaleCode.com. So I've got two channels and I'm posting to both these videos. So here's the deal. There's something called permission slips. Now, the first time I heard this was was more than 30 years ago during a 5-week NLP training in Hawaii. So, okay, here's where it started. Now, another person talks about is Bashar. He's a spiritual, I'm not really sure what his title is, but he's a pretty cool dude. I like what he talks about. So here's what I mean by permission slips. The first time I heard of this, and this was a good way because it helped me to understand something, because we all feel like we need permission, but we don't. Okay, so let me just give some examples. So we were in hypnosis, and we were deep in this, I think it was the 3rd week of the training, actually beyond 3.5 weeks into the training. And when you take a training day to day, 7 to 8 hours every day after you've listened to home study programs and read, half a dozen books or a dozen books on it, you're really kind of in a special place to understand things that you normally wouldn't understand. So here's what it was. Some lady goes, I've got a question. Now, I'm not trained in stage hypnosis, so I don't do that. But essentially, the majority of the techniques are very similar. So she said, why is it that some people will go up on stage and they get hypnotized and they laugh, but in their daily life, they're very angry and they never laugh and they're never goofy, or, like she said, like they'll go up on stage and they'll be Elvis, or they'll be, someone, dancing around where normally like they've never done that in their life and they would never do it. And then when they come out of hypnosis, and I'll explain why I said that, is because then next thing you know, they're just like, no, like that's not me. I would never do that in a million years. And Dr. Tad James goes, is because for some people, hypnosis is a permission slip. It's the only way that they will allow themselves to be goofy, to be playful, to act like Elvis, or some dancer, or, whatever. Now, this doesn't just apply to happiness. It could be to being successful, to being a football player, to doing something that you want to do with your life. So for a lot of people, and Dr. Tad James says, for a lot of people, alcohol, when they're drunk, they become a goofball. They become the life of the party. But when they're not drunk, they're very serious. All right. There was a girl I knew, Kelly, great girl. We kind of dated, but we never really connected. We're really good friends. She lived in Dixon. She was a country girl. And right across the street, some guy pulls up, and he was about my age, maybe a couple years older. I think I was like 28, and she was like, I don't remember how old she was, 21, 22. And she lived with her parents, and we were on the steps. We were about to walk in, and he pulls up. He goes, hey, how you doing? He turns around all serious and stuff, just real serious, kind of angry. And he walked in. As we walked in, I go, wow, that guy, that's an angry dude. She goes, oh, no, Mike, he's a really good person. He's really funny. I don't know. He looked pretty angry to me. Was he just pissed off? She goes, no, he's like that all the time. I'm like, why do you say he's a funny, happy guy? She goes, well, when he's drunk, he's happy. But when he's not, he's miserable. I was like, okay, well, that's kind of sad. But it reminded me of that training I took that was talking about permission slips. I was like, no shit. Okay. So here's the deal. Okay, let's take my course, Cracked Female Code. For a lot of men, when they take the course, they're like, okay, now I can meet women. Now I can talk to women. Because by taking the course, they learn a lot. And they're like, Mike Kollin is like he's the mad scientist of the mind. And I am. I'm pretty intense there. It gives them permission. It's like they've learned all this stuff. They read my 500-book page, Cracked Female Code, bought my ultimate package, read all the books in there that I wrote. And they take the course, and it blows their mind. And it does change things. But part of it is, it's like, now that I know this, I can go talk to women. For some men, it's like automatic. Like the very next week, they're just talking, meeting women, going on dates. And they hadn't been on a date in 2 years or 5 years, or, or crashed miserably, on the first date. So all I'm trying to say is, you don't need permission. You don't need permission from me. And it's not like I give them permission. They just feel like, well, I took this course, and this is what he taught me, and they go do it. Maybe I shouldn't use it as an example, because it could be alcohol. Some people use drugs as permission to enjoy life and be happy. A lot of people, it's coffee. As long as I got caffeine, then I can be successful. And it's just a belief. You could do it without the coffee, I guarantee it. I rode from here to the Golden Gate Bridge on my bike. Normally, it was an hour and a half drive. I did it in 45 minutes one day. No caffeine, no nothing. I'm 57 years old. I fucking flew. I kicked ass. I got on it. You know what it was? I was trying to beat the bus, and I did. So, because the bus has to take stops and stuff. And I admit I left about 10 minutes before the bus. But the bus goes on the highway, so it's got a major advantage over me. So here's the deal. You don't need permission to do anything. You don't need an excuse. And that's what permission slips are. It's like, oh, well, let's say Monday morning, like in high school, kids like, man, dude, you were a real, like party of the town. You did all this weird shit. You stripped naked and jumped in the pool. Oh, I was drunk. And here's the deal. They don't feel guilty or ashamed. It's like, oh, I was drunk. And they'll say, that wasn't me. That's what I'm talking about. That's permission slips. You shouldn't need to not be you. It's okay to be you. It's okay to laugh, be happy, enjoy life, get into the relationship of your dreams, to be successful, so to start the business of your dreams, to do whatever you want, to go to college, to get good. You know what? A lot of you don't get good grades because you don't believe that's you. Oh, that I'm not smart. Oh, I don't get good grades. That's just not me. But if I take this magic pill, oh, you know what? They've done tests like this and they've given sugar pills to people and all of a sudden they got good grades and all of a sudden they succeeded in sports and they succeeded in life. And a year or two later, the doctor's like, those were sugar pills. I'm like, what? Well, then how did I do that? How did I become smart all of a sudden? You always were. The therapy, the hypnosis, the NLP training that I'm trained in, it takes you out of those negative trances. The beliefs that you're not good enough, the belief that you're not smart enough, the belief that you're not capable, the belief that you're not attractive enough, the belief that you don't deserve something without a pill, without a drink, without an excuse, without getting hypnotized. I remember early on when I was working with clients, I started putting ads in the local paper, and I thought it was really weird of putting hypnosis because what I'm trained in is to take you out of your trance, to take you out of hypnosis. I thought I should put de-hypnosis, like DE, like day, which, or unhypnosis, to take people out of hypnosis. Because what I'm doing, I'm not actually hypnotizing you. I'm making you conscious in the present moment. That's my number one thing. That's what the internal awareness techniques do. They take you out of this thinking. See, thinking is a trance. It's a pattern. It's when you're in an unconscious strategy. I take you out of the strategies. Do you understand? I take you out of the unconscious patterns. I take you out of your meta programs so you can be in the moment and so you can do what you want. I'm going to leave it at that. This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. If you want to get a hold of me, do therapy. I do timeline. I'm a master practitioner of timeline therapy, NLP trainer, master practitioner of Erickson hypnosis, certified in Reiki, Huna, Pranic healing, and a master practitioner of HNLP, humanistic neurolinguistic programming, and on and on. There's a ton of other techniques I'm trained in. If you really want to shift, you want to be more peaceful, happier, more motivated, more excited, whatever it is you're looking for, get a hold of me at 415-235-2512. That's 415-235-2512. And the country code is 1. You can also get a hold of me at my email, mike@mikekollin.com, MikeKollin.com.